Hello and welcome to Tacoma's Elder Care Channel. My name is Bob Michaels. I'm an elder law attorney with the downtown Tacoma law firm of Smith Alling. Today we have Lisa Doyle from K-Care and we're going to be discussing home care.
Yeah.
Hello Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Would you introduce yourself please?
So my name is Lisa Doyle. I'm a nurse and the owner and founder of K-Care Elder Care and Senior Living Advisors. We serve Pierce, King, Thurston, Kitsap, and Snohomish counties. And we have 3 divisions: referral agency or placement, care management, and home care coordination.
Super. And when we discuss home care, what does that mean to you?
So home care is, I probably go back one step before that. Home care is basically just getting a caregiver into the home that can help with chores. Chores being, getting the daily laundry done, emptying the garbage, doing the cleaning in the kitchen, those kinds of things. But it can also include personal care, which is actually helping someone get dressed, get cleaned up, all those things we do in the morning. So, teeth care, eye care. In addition, it can also be a little step further, which would be like hands-on care that requires nurse supervision. So that can include helping with wounds, helping with things like Foley catheters, that kind of thing.
Super. Why don't you tell us about K-Care, where you're located, how do we get a hold of you, and
Sure.
how do leads come to you?
So K-Care, we have our clinical office is in Puyallup, Washington, but we are available to be contacted through our toll-free number, which is 1-866-337-1176, or on our website at www.caycare.com. And probably the best part about why you would want to get a hold of us for something like home care is we do home care coordination. So our staff will provide an intake and take that information, and if home care is one of the things that you need, then they will plug you in with one of our elder care advisors who the only thing she specializes in is home care coordination, and she will make a family care plan that for all the time that the caregiver is not there, and then determine when an agency caregiver is there what exactly they will do and what's needed. So some of the things I just mentioned, like doing the personal care or maybe having a wound or whatever it is, all those things will be addressed. But the best part is that whole service is free because the agencies pay us out of their marketing budget to help do this piece. Makes us non-biased, easy to use, and we can do a little shopping. So we can use the agency that has the most trained caregiver in the cost that you need in the location you need.
Oh, super,
Yeah.
super. I learned an interesting fact today, I think I learned it from you, is that people who are desiring or needing skilled nursing care and are forced to pay that through Medicaid are having a difficult time finding a Medicaid bed in a facility.
It's true.
Which places all the more emphasis on home care. So
Right.
what are your thoughts about that?
Well, so basically that's absolutely the case. The more people are needing, we've got the baby boomers, everyone talks about the 10,000 clients that are, or individuals who are retiring every day. And that with not everybody having the nest egg, or the nest egg got used up a few years ago with some of the financial crisis that we all went through. And so they aren't they're planning to live forever, or maybe thinking that they're not going to live forever, and they are, I don't know, but they're not able to afford the long-term care that they need. So that's why I'm thankful for you. But if they do qualify for Medicaid, for example, in Pierce County, of all the assisted livings that are out there, there are only 4 that take a direct Medicaid admission. So if those beds are full, then there's no place for anyone to go that wants assisted living, and I could kind of go down the caregiving chain. So going home with care, it's a lot easier a lot of times for people to find an individual caregiver to help support someone, and who doesn't want to go home anyway, right?
Speaking of care at home, Medicaid at home is under a program known as COPES.
Right.
And COPES for several years has struggled financially, and what have you heard lately about the COPES program?
Well, so the idea of getting 24-hour paid caregiving through the COPES program is not very likely. But what many families do is they'll have a family member that is supporting some of the other times, but they would like a break, so then they have a caregiver come in for the other time. And it really varies from care needs, but it could be as little as an hour or two a day up to 8 or 10 hours a day.
Right. Oh, great information. Now, again, when people call you, they're going to talk to you or Heidi, and what information should they have ready to?
Well, that's a great question. So when you're working with a referral agency, the wonderful thing about what we do is there's always a person who does the intake. They're an hourly staff member. Their role is to find out all your information. They have no commission. They don't get there's no motivation for them to steer you in any one direction. And as they're doing their intake, they're going to ask you basically a little details for contact information, some medical details, some financial information, because if you aren't going to be able to afford the care in the place that we're heading, then we need to get you plugged in with someone like Bob, right? So that you can get that support and take that direction. So we need to know that information. And probably one of my most important pieces of what we do is finding out your goals and what your quality of life is going to be. So if your goal is to remain at home for as long as possible, and we know this, then that's where our we're going to head with everything that we recommend for you, is how we can keep that. If it's not realistic, our clinical staff, our intake staff are really going to be honest with you. If you're sharing this, I live in a 4-story house and it's all stairs and I haven't walked in a month and I'm at a nursing home, probably isn't going to happen very easily. Not impossible, but it's just going to take a little bit of planning to make that happen, and possibly an elevator.
All right, well, besides home care, what other services does K-Care offer?
Absolutely. So there is placement. So we have placement navigators, and if at any point that is indicated, you can certainly come back and give us a call, and we will walk you through all the options that are out there. We keep a pulse on any options that are here in the community right now. And then we have geriatric care management, which is probably the most common reason that we end up interacting with an elder law attorney, in that families, a lot of times when they're first doing that searching, they don't quite know exactly everything that they need, and sort of their description to you is one way, but may not be that clinical piece. So a geriatric care manager comes in, gets a really good picture, does a whole bunch of screening and assessment tools to figure out cognitive needs, makes home safety recommendations for where they reside, all those things to make sure that the product, the outcome, every planning piece that the elder law attorney is doing, and all that money that you're saving, is just a little bit better done.
Yeah. That just reminded me of a question I've always wanted to ask you. In dealing with elders, a large part of our practice is with, pre-planning and drafting their durable general power of attorneys and their wills and so forth. And the issue of capacity comes up often. And what we mean by that is someone have their wits about them. Are they capable? Are they cognizant enough to execute legal documents? That's important because, as families quite often do, those documents become challenged, or certain places will not recognize those because they believe they understand the person's history. Does your company, are you a resource we can go to have this person tested and come back with some sort of objective conclusion as to their competency?
Absolutely. The screening that we do can absolutely help with that. And oftentimes the physician, it'll help back up what the physician's seeing during that visit out in the community, because it's sometimes hard. I get nervous when I go to the doctor and I don't have a cognitive impairment. So you put someone with a cognitive impairment, they may fail miserably, or they may do wonderful because they practiced, but you get them in their own setting and you can see a little bit more closely. So yeah.
And that's both a benefit to the client and to the service providers, whether it be the lawyers or accountants or people like yourself, particularly later on. some of our judgments can be questioned, and we'll have to defend those, and the better objective support we have or evidence we have for the competency and how we made the decision we did helps a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's actually one of the most fun parts of our job too, is to be able to help you guys do your job even better, because we're also helping that family, and sometimes it is sort of like you're on the fence, you're not really sure, so that kind of helps with answer that question.
Super. Well, why don't you just take a final minute here and again remind people how to get a hold of you.
Okay.
And maybe put them at ease a little bit and tell them kind of how your fee structure works. I know you mentioned it before,
Right.
and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, well, so it's KCare, spelled with a CVO, CAYcare.com, and our phone number is 1-866-337-1176. Our placement and home care coordination is a free, no cost to you. It's paid through a normal referral agency compensation plan, which you get laid out when you sign up with us. You get a disclosure form with more information than you'd probably ever want. And then our geriatric care management is done by the hour, and we make recommendations. It's $125 an hour, or there are our care analysis, some of our care planning are on flat fees. So we would love to talk to you more about that. And I don't know, it's a good way to figure out if we can save you time or money. It's always a good plan.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Well, Lisa,
Yeah,
nice to
thank
see you
you.
again, and thank you all for tuning in.